Imagine you're the President of the United States. You control the most powerful military in human history. Your defense budget alone is over $800 billion per year. You have aircraft carriers larger than entire towns, satellites watching every corner of Earth. And yet, there's one massive blind spot, a frozen island covered in ice, nearly empty. Only 56,000 people live there. On paper, it looks useless. No mega cities, no skyscrapers, no tech hubs, no Silicon Valley, just ice. But here's the paradox. That frozen island might determine who controls the future of global trade, global war, and trillions of dollars in natural resources. So you ask yourself a crazy question. What if we just bought it? Not invaded it, not conquered it, bought it. Sounds ridiculous, right? Except here's the shocking truth. The United States has already tried to buy it multiple times. Most recently, in 2019, the sitting president openly proposed it. Why would a superpower want a frozen wasteland? What's hiding under that ice? And why are China and Russia suddenly obsessed with the same place? To understand this, you need to realize something most people don't. Greenland isn't just an island. It's a weapon, and whoever controls it controls the future. For most modern history, Greenland was an afterthought. Technically, it belongs to Denmark, a small European country with a population of just 6 million people. Greenland itself has been under Danish control since 1721. But here's the strange part. Denmark couldn't really use it. Greenland was too remote, too cold, too empty. 95% of the island is covered by ice. That ice sheet is over 2 miles thick in some places. Imagine stacking 4 Empire State Buildings on top of each other. That's how deep the ice goes. So for centuries, Greenland just sat there, ignored, forgotten, irrelevant, or so it seemed. Because hidden beneath that ice were warning signs nobody fully understood yet. Strategic location, massive untapped resources, and one terrifying reality. Greenland sits directly between America and its biggest military rivals. But nobody really cared until war changed everything. And that's where the story begins.
1. The accident that changed everything. It's 1867. America has just survived the Civil War. The country is rebuilding, and one man has a strange idea. His name is William H. Seward. He proposes buying Alaska from Russia. People laugh at him. They call it Seward's folly. A frozen wasteland? Worthless. But Seward understood something others didn't. Location is power. America bought Alaska for $7.2 million. Today, Alaska has generated over $180 billion in oil revenue alone. That's a 25,000x return. Now here's why this matters. Just months after buying Alaska, Seward made another proposal. Buy Greenland too. The U.S. offered $5.5 million in gold. Denmark refused. But the idea never died, because military planners saw something others didn't. Greenland wasn't empty. It was perfectly positioned, and positioning wins wars. 2. World War II and the island that became a shield. It's April 9th, 1940. Nazi Germany invades Denmark. Overnight, Denmark loses control of Greenland. This creates a terrifying possibility. What if Germany uses Greenland as a military base? From Greenland, German bombers could reach North America. Submarines could refuel there. Missiles could be launched. America couldn't allow that. So the U.S. quietly occupied Greenland in 1941. Not invaded, occupied, with permission from Danish officials in exile. America built airfields, weather stations, military bases. Why weather stations? Because weather in Europe starts in Greenland. If you know Greenland's weather, you know Europe's weather days in advance. That information helped win World War II. But the war revealed something even more important. Greenland wasn't just useful, it was essential. And after the war ended, America didn't want to give it up.
The $100 million offer nobody talks about. It's 1946. The war is over, but a new conflict is beginning. The Cold War. America versus Soviet Union. Nuclear weapons change everything. Suddenly, geography becomes life or death, because the shortest route for Soviet nuclear missiles to reach America is over the Arctic, right over Greenland. Let's do the math. Distance from Russia to New York over the Arctic, about 6,800 kilometers. Distance through other routes, up to 12,000 kilometers. Greenland cuts the distance almost in half. That makes it the perfect missile detection location. So President Harry Truman made an offer, $100 million in gold for Greenland. Adjusted for inflation today, that's over $1.3 billion. Denmark said no, but America didn't walk away empty-handed. Instead, they negotiated something else, permanent military access. And that's when America built one of its most important secret bases, the most important military base you've never heard of. Deep inside Greenland, America built Thule Air Base. This base is critical, not useful, critical. Here's why. Thule is America's northernmost military base. From there, radar systems can detect incoming missiles from Russia. Those radars provide early warning. Without Thule, America might have only minutes to respond to a nuclear attack. With Thule, they gain precious extra time, minutes that could save millions of lives. This base also tracks satellites, monitors space, supports missile defense. Think of it like a security camera watching the front door of America. Now here's the terrifying part. If an enemy controlled Greenland, they could blind America's early warning system. Imagine your home security cameras suddenly going dark. That's Greenland, and America knows it. But military value was just the beginning, because under the ice, something even more valuable was waiting. The $1 trillion treasure chest under ice. Greenland isn't just ice, it's one of the most resource-rich places on Earth. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, the Arctic holds 13% of the world's undiscovered oil, 30% of undiscovered natural gas, and massive deposits of rare earth minerals. Rare earth minerals are critical. They power smartphones, electric vehicles, fighter jets, missiles, wind turbines. Everything modern depends on them. Here's the problem. China controls over 85% of the global rare earth supply. That gives China enormous power. They can restrict supply, raise prices, cripple industries. Now imagine if Greenland could supply those minerals instead. Suddenly, Greenland becomes priceless. Some estimates suggest Greenland's total resource value exceeds $1 trillion. That's not a typo. $1 trillion. And America wants access. But America isn't the only one watching, because China has entered the game, and that changes everything. Quick pause. If you're realizing this isn't about ice at all, hit subscribe, because stories like this reveal how power actually works behind the scenes. Now, let's continue. China's silent invasion. China doesn't invade countries with tanks. They use money, infrastructure, investments, influence. China offered to build airports in Greenland, mining projects, infrastructure. On paper, it looked like economic cooperation, but America saw something else. A strategic foothold. If China gained influence in Greenland, they could gain military access, surveillance capabilities, economic control. China calls itself a near-Arctic state, even though it's over 1,400 kilometers away from the Arctic Circle. Why? Because Arctic shipping routes could save enormous time. For example, shipping from China to Europe through traditional routes, 48 days. Through Arctic routes, 32 days. That's 33% faster. That saves billions. And Greenland sits directly on those routes. Control Greenland, control Arctic trade. control Arctic trade, control trillions in future commerce. This is where it gets crazy, so stay with me, because now Russia enters the picture.
Russia's Arctic military expansion. Russia has been aggressively militarizing the Arctic. They've reopened Soviet-era military bases, built new airfields, deployed missile systems. Russia has over 40 icebreakers. America has only 2. Icebreakers are ships that cut through ice. They allow year-round access to Arctic waters. Russia dominates Arctic access, and Greenland sits directly across from Russia's Arctic coastline. This creates a military chessboard. Greenland becomes the key square. Control Greenland, control Arctic surveillance. Control Arctic surveillance, control military advantage. This is why NATO considers Greenland strategically vital. It's not about today. It's about the next 50 years. And in 2019, this strategic reality suddenly became public because one man said the quiet part out loud. The offer that shocked the world. It's August 2019. President Donald Trump makes a statement. He wants to buy Greenland. The media laughs. People mock the idea. Memes everywhere. But military experts didn't laugh. They understood exactly why. Trump wasn't inventing the idea. He was continuing a 150-year-old strategy. America had tried before, in 1867, in 1946, and now again. Denmark refused immediately. They called it absurd. Trump canceled a planned visit to Denmark. Diplomatic tensions rose. But behind the scenes, military planners agreed with the logic. Owning Greenland would eliminate uncertainty, guarantee access, block rivals, secure resources, strengthen defense. The benefits were enormous. And the costs? Potentially tiny compared to the strategic value. Because remember, America bought Alaska for $7.2 million. Today, it's worth trillions. Greenland could be Alaska 2.0. But this story doesn't end with the offer, because something bigger is happening right now. Something even more important. The ice is melting, and that changes everything. The breaking point. The melting that changed the game. Greenland is melting fast. Since 1992, Greenland has lost over 4 trillion tons of ice. That's enough water to cover the entire United States in half a meter of water. Let that sink in. This melting creates 2 massive consequences. First, resources become accessible. Oil, gas, minerals, previously trapped under miles of ice, now reachable. Second, new shipping routes open. The Arctic Ocean is becoming navigable. This creates new global trade routes, shorter, faster, cheaper. The Arctic could become the new Suez Canal, except controlled by whoever dominates the region. Greenland sits right in the middle. This transforms Greenland from useless to priceless, instantly. And here's who wins and loses. Winners. America, if it maintains military dominance. China, if it gains economic influence. Russia, if it maintains Arctic military superiority. Losers. Anyone who ignores Greenland. Because control of Greenland means control of Arctic access. Control of Arctic access means control of future global trade. This isn't speculation. It's already happening. Russia is expanding. China is investing. America is strengthening military presence. Greenland isn't a frozen island anymore. It's ground zero for the next global power struggle. Now, before you sit back and laugh at the idea of buying Greenland, remember Alaska. People laughed at that too. Now, it's one of America's most valuable assets. History repeats itself. Always. This is the canary in the coal mine, because global power is shifting north. Climate change is opening new frontiers. Countries are positioning early, quietly, strategically. Greenland today is what Middle Eastern oil fields were in 1900, ignored by most, obsessed over by the powerful. China is investing billions in Arctic infrastructure. Russia is militarizing aggressively. America is strengthening alliances. This isn't random. It's preparation. Because whoever controls Arctic access controls future trade, controls future military advantage, controls future power. And Greenland sits at the center. Before we continue, let me know in the comments, should Greenland stay independent, remain with Denmark, or align with America? Because the answer could shape the future of global power. The 3 lessons nobody talks about. First lesson, geography is destiny. Countries don't become powerful randomly. Location matters. Greenland sits at the crossroads of military, trade, and resources. That makes it valuable forever. Second lesson. Today's joke is tomorrow's genius. People mocked the Alaska Purchase, mocked buying Greenland. But strategic thinkers see long-term value, not short-term appearances. Third lesson. The real battles happen quietly, not with bombs, with investments, bases, influence, positioning. Greenland isn't just land, it's leverage, and leverage determines winners. The island that will decide the future. Right now, Greenland remains under Danish control, but the pressure is building. America wants security, China wants resources, Russia wants dominance, and Greenland sits in the middle, silent, frozen, waiting. The real question isn't whether America wants Greenland. It's whether America can afford not to control it. Because in the next 50 years, Greenland might become the most important piece of land on Earth. If you found this story fascinating, subscribe, because next we're uncovering how China is quietly buying influence across Africa. And one final question for you. If you were America, would you try to buy Greenland? Or is it already too late?